Syrian. We need to talk about freedom fighters right here, amongst us, right here in this country. We need to also be talking about fixing America. We can't even fix Detroit. We talk about Syria. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to mobilize. It's time for us to spread the word about this war. And let us always remember that nearly 50% of people in New York City are living under the poverty line. So how are we going somewhere else talking about democracy and justice and prosperity if we don't even have it here? So we need to be very clear. If there's a war going on against poor people, against working class people right here in this country, and against African people, Latinos, and other people of color and oppressed communities. So let us always be clear, and let us always connect those issues, and let us always keep the focus on where it needs to be focused. And that's on the 1%, the corporations, through Obama, I'm saying. So it's very, very important. Also, I wanted to say, come on down. We're having our second year anniversary at Occupy Wall Street, September 17th, and we're going to be occupying for the McDonald's workers at 8 o'clock, and then on October 24th, we're going to do the same thing to the Great International Action Center. And I want to say I love you guys. Tell your brothers, your sisters, your mother, all about this. This is nothing but another Iraq fake war. Uhuru.
That's right, folks. This is important. This is the battleground where it started off. Occupy Wall Street. And we want folks to come out there too, September 17th. And again, making sure that everyone knows, at 2:30, we want to march. We want a strong militant march through the city. 2:30 today. Join us. If you're walking around, if you're shopping, come back over here and march to Union Square with us today to say we do not want to see another war in Syria. We do not want to see another war in the Middle East. U.S. out. We need money for jobs and education here in the U.S. I want to bring to the stage a fierce fighter for immigrant rights in this country. Gracias Gutierrez with the May 1st Immigrant Rights Coalition. Gracias Gutierrez. This is the word that reminds me of how angry I am that the U.S. government is bringing out another war abroad to drive the president, pretext, and corporate.
Did you get it? We need to fight for another way. And if we're not one of those.
These are Tuesday night trailers. Yeah, this is
you can go to Washington this Monday to be in front of the White House to say no war. That's when Congress comes back. So we're going to be joining the Syrian American Forum on Monday morning in front of the White House. If you can go, please let us know. We have vans and cars, buses going down. So please join me in welcoming Julia, a young Syrian activist.
I am a true Syrian. I have Syrian blood in me. And although I was born here, I have been here several times. And it's not fair to my grandparents, my cousins, my friends, and everyone in Syria that they are supposed to be bombed by Obama. He is wrong. They have done nothing to hurt Americans, but yet Americans want to hurt them. It's not fair. Because it's my country, and you have no right to bomb it.
Hands off Syria! 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 Not another war! Not another war! Hands off Syria! Hands off Syria! Not another war! Not another war! Hands off Syria! Hands off Syria! Not another war! Not another war! Thank you, Julia. Stay here and help us advance. Okay, sisters and brothers, next up, we're going to hear from Kazim Azin with Solidarity C, Solidarity Iran. Kazim Azin.
Brothers and sisters, I'm outraged, angry, and somehow sad, as well as I'm angry and optimistic, because there's a war going on between the one person of the world, most imperialistic power in history with the people of the world, and this imperialist is in the process of declining and defeat. People of the Middle East have been fighting for 30 years after the Iran Revolution, one by one in each country, and they win in their struggle. The United States didn't win in Iraq, didn't win in Afghanistan, didn't win in Libya, didn't not going to win in Egypt. Yesterday, the people, students and professors from Azhar University in Egypt gave a flyer out supporting the Syrian people as a forefront the Arab Revolution. That means where the Egyptian people are going, they're not going to be thinking that this is a war between Sunni and Shia. This is a war between the corporate American one-person ruling class and the European ruling class and Zionists, and the people of the world, including the masses in the United States, who have been brainwashed by the media. If the media was in the control of the group like International Action Center or UNITE, you would see that millions of people would march with you on the street. Let's break that censure. This is the most dictatorship in the world have ever humanity have seen. Much more undemocratic than any kind of feudal system in the world. It's the most reactionary system in the world. People of Syria have nothing to do, have never done anything to the people of the United States. But why? All the children have grandpa, why they go to war with Syria? But there is no other way to explain the interest of the one person. And people in this country need war. They need war. They need occupation. They need education. They need health care. Two of the most important things is is in the hand of the private corporation, and people cannot have education, especially the people of. But let me tell you why I'm optimistic. There is demonstration like this going on all over the Middle East. People of the Middle East now, little by little, understanding why the Saudi Arabia is their enemy, why the Qatar is their enemy, why the Turkish member of the NATO is their enemy. People are understanding it's not a fight between Sunni and Shia. People of Arab world are understanding that the people of the United States, the working people of the United States is their friend. That's why all over the world is saying, hands off Syria, hands off Syria, hands off Syria. We're gonna win this struggle. Let's be optimistic. We definitely win.
Thank you. Kazem Azin from Solidarity, Iran. Sisters and brothers, we're going to march at 2:30 down Broadway to Union Square. We're going to take this message to all the people today in New York, and we are gathered all over the country. Next up, we're going to hear from Nellie Bailey from the Harlem Tenants Council and from Occupy Harlem. Nellie Bailey.
Brothers and sisters, at this very moment, the U.S., Saudi Arabia, Qatar insurgents, these fanatics have laid siege to the holy city of Mulala in Syria. It's a Christian city, and they have started a bloodletting of something that will continue and continue. There is no excuse, not any excuse. It's irrational that Barack Obama, Nobel Prize laureate Barack Obama, who declares himself a Christian, could ignore, and John Kerry with all of his lies, that they can ignore what is going on in Malula. The New York Times will ignore it. All of the U.S. corporate press will ignore this atrocity. Sure, they will report on it a month from now, as they haven't reported on the March report that was from Russia that said and offered much more conclusive proof that the rebels had used sarin gas. We don't hear that in the American press. We don't hear that in the American press. And for the New York Times to run or publish the video of the so-called insurgents, those fanatical, crazy Sunni jihadists. Remember those guys? They're the ones who are who bombed the World Trade Center. But now they are allies of Barack Obama. Someone is touching my back. I thought I had just started, but I have a little ditty I want to sing for you. You better watch out. You better start crying. You better start praying. I'm telling you why. Barack Obama is a neocon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie Bailey from Occupy Harlem and the Harlem Tenants Council. Sisters and brothers, we're going to be passing around some buckets, and we're asking you to make a donation just to cover the sound, the truck, the signs for today's demonstration, because we know that we got to be out here again and again in the days ahead. And we know that a people's movement takes people's donations. We're going to do this from the ground up in every city, in every town. So we're going to ask you to dig in your pockets and make a donation when these buckets come around. That's how you build a people's movement. Next up, we're going to hear from Larry Holmes from Workers' World Party. He's the first secretary of Workers' World Party and an activist for decades. Originally a veteran and a resistor of the Vietnam War and fighting imperialist wars ever since. Larry Holmes.
Mic check. Mic check. President Obama. You're a liar. John Kerry. You're a liar too. We are not fools. We are not stupid. You're not telling the truth. Your war against Syria is about oil. It's about domination. It's about colonialism. It's about imperialism. And we don't want it. The whole world doesn't want it. And this time, we're going to stop you.
Thank you. Larry Holmes, Workers' World Party. Next up is Ken Dalton. He is with Veterans for Peace, Chapter 21 in New Jersey, a veteran activist, opponent of U.S. wars. And just to remind you that there's some buckets going around. We really want you to dig deep, make a donation, help us stay out here in the streets in the days ahead, making signs, using the sound equipment, making our voice heard. We have an intense week ahead of us. Congress comes back Monday. We're going to Washington with the Syrian American Forum to be in front of the White House on Monday, and we are going to be in the streets every day. So, from 10 to 12 in front of the White House, and then we're going to march on Congress at 12 o'clock with a rally in Upper Senate Park. That's on Monday. We're going to march today at 2:30 down Broadway. We have a few more speakers. Next up, Ken Dalton, Veterans for Peace, Chapter 21, New Jersey.
Thank you. Hey, hey, Uncle Sam.
Hey, Uncle Sam.
I remember Vietnam. You know what? Well, John Kerry, what the hell happened to you, right? 1971, you were telling everybody, how could you be the last guy to die in a war based on lies? And yet you're lying right now to get people to die in another war. What is wrong with you, John Kerry? Look, you know, I'm making a plea to every service member, every member of the U.S. Armed Forces, both active duty and reserve. I can't tell you to break the law. I can't tell you to go AWOL. I can't tell you to sabotage equipment to stop your unit from deploying. And I can't tell you to disobey orders. But this is what I will tell you. I will tell you to follow your conscience. Follow your conscience. If you believe that these wars are based on lies, follow your conscience. If you believe these wars are for imperialism and for the sake of Wall Street, follow your conscience. If you believe that these wars are against the United States Constitution or your own basic human, religious beliefs, follow your conscience and then act accordingly. You know, do what you have to do, you know, to be at peace with yourself. I will say this, say yes to peace and no to war. I will say that to every member of the U.S. Armed Forces. And follow like our lead in the early 70s and late 60s, when American service members refused to fight. We refused to do the dirty work of Wall Street. And I've asked you to go on and follow our lead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ken Dalton from Veterans for Peace. Our next speaker is Alex Renner from FIST, Fight Imperialism, Stand Together. It's a new young movement determined to fight another imperialist war. Alex Renner.
The U.S. imperialist war machine wants to start yet another war for domination in the Middle East. It has nothing to do with humanitarian issues. It has everything to do, as it's already been mentioned, with economic dominance, oil resources, and the pilfering of labor in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and everywhere else in the Middle East. If our leadership were really concerned with humanitarian issues, they'd be taking up the problems that are going on in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, where young people are getting harassed in the streets by police because of the color of their skin. They'd be taking up the humanitarian issues in Detroit, where homes are rotting, empty, and yet people are still being thrown to the streets by the banks. This is a war for Wall Street. This is a war for the 1%, for the bourgeoisie. We need to start considering we, the working class, to come together to fight this machine so that we can fight for our own interests, the working class interests. The United States loves talking about regime change in Syria, regime change in Libya, regime change in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. When are we going to start talking about regime change in the United States of America? When are we going to have a humanitarian bombing campaign on Wall Street? Ask yourself that question. And ask yourself what is to be done. Thank you.
Okay, Alex Renner, thank you. FIST, Fight Imperialism, Stand Together. Next up, we're going to hear from Anthony Gronowitz, who is a Green Party candidate for mayor in New York City, a long time opponent of every U.S. war. Anthony Gronowitz.
Thank you very much. The Green Party has always been opposed to the wars of the United States. We have 96% of the military bases on the planet. We have a larger military budget than the rest of the world put together. And still, people like Kerry, the richest man in the Senate, want us to continue to fight wars for oil and kill people in the Middle East in order to conquer the Middle East. Because control of energy supplies means control of the world. But most of the world is opposed. The U.S. government has never been more isolated than it has been today, in the last few days, with this attempt to pin the chemical warfare attack on the Syrian government. All of the intelligence reports that they used were from Israel. And Israel obviously has an aim in this movement to work with the United States to neutralize every Arab opposition that there is and to destroy one of the seats of Middle Eastern culture, just like they destroyed Iraq